Okay, Truth or Fiction. This is a pretty hard left-leaning online journal, and they're pretty hopping mad about some police action in Columbus, not concerning the Bryant lady, but instead a college block party gone wrong. And you know what? They are absolutely right. Not on everything they say, but in terms of the injustices done to people living in that area, yeah, they're right. And I'm not going to help these college jackasses one bit. Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With his powerful brainwaves cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnnie Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnnie Walker Dread Show.
Okay, so the title is, Did Columbus Police Not Arrest Anyone After a College Party That Left Cars Overturned? And this was written up on April 21st, just a couple of days ago, by Arturo Garcia. The claim is, police in Columbus, Ohio failed to make any arrests at a local block party during which several vehicles were overturned. So let's go ahead and look at some videos here of what took place that night. This is at Ohio State. It's at a sort of a typical yearly festival of some sort, and you know how those things can get out of hand at college campuses, but this is ridiculous. That's somebody's car. They might need that to go to work. Not that these college students would know anything about that. Now, to be fair to these students, perhaps the car was already overturned and these students volunteered to put it back upright. In that case, okay, I would be commending of these students, but somebody turned them cars upside down. If you're an employer and you see one of your employees around that car, fire them. And Ohio State, you need to throw them out of your university. And who in the hell would trust somebody like that with a job? Air traffic control? Oh, hell no. Would you trust that kind of person as a doctor? No. What would you trust that person to do for anyone? Throw them out of the university. Okay, so let's go ahead and read a little bit here. Now, keep in mind, this is a pretty left-leaning article, so I'm going to go ahead and correct the records when I think that needs to be done here. So, as criticism swirled around the police department in Columbus, Ohio for its extrajudicial killing of 16-year-old Ma'Khia Bryant, it was not extrajudicial. I'm sorry. That is a blatant bias in your reporting here. And I understand you're not really trying to be a real legitimate news source, but that's ridiculous. More than a few commenters on social media pointed out that the officer seemed much less aggressive when it came to a local street party with a history of causing property damage and injuries. Okay, let's continue on. Less than a week before Bryant was shot and killed by an officer on April 20th, news reports and social media posts circulated about the events at Chit Fest, a student block party at Ohio State University, to mark the school football team's annual spring intra-squad game. According to the Columbus Dispatch and the student newspaper The Lantern, more than 1,000 revelers gathered on Chinton Avenue on April 17th for the latest installment, in spite of several guidelines against such events in light of the COVID. Oh, who cares about that? What I mean by that is, I'm focusing on the actual, what took place here in terms of the violence and the crowd. I'm not worried about the COVID thing. That's a completely different argument. Senior Lauren Terrace told the Dispatch that she witnessed several people turning her car onto its side with some beating on the car's hood, the newspaper reported. Terrace said she spent the 2 hours fending off drunken revelers while protecting her car and trying to call the police. Neither effort was very successful. The police dispatcher told me, and I quote, "They have other things to worry about and they'll come down when it's safe for them," said Terrace. "I'm really disappointed there were no police there." By the time the police arrived around 3 a.m., Terrace said the people who damaged her car were long gone. Her arms are covered in bruises, she said, from shoving people away. "There were no repercussions, no arrests made," she said. "I need to find the people who did this." Yeah, the police need to find them as well. Both newspapers confirmed that no arrests were made despite the damage, not just to residents' cars, but also to some residences, which prompted Terrace to question that lack of response compared to police treatment of demonstrators protesting against police violence. There's no relevance here. Don't quit trying to make these comparisons. Okay? There's plenty of examples of people being released with no repercussions for some very dangerous vandalism and assault in some of these protests. Now keep in mind, maybe there might be some arrests coming. They have to do an investigation. They got to find who these kids are. They'll have to go around and start asking people, or maybe they won't. I'm not saying that they will. I'm just saying that they can't just start arresting people because they don't know who to arrest yet. And that will take a little time to figure out. So here is a picture of the aftermath. And yeah, that's crazy. Somebody's car looks like it came through unscathed. I'm not sure. Maybe that was the dean. Well, probably not. But that's terrible. Just absolutely terrible. Since the incident, Interim Police Chief Mike Woods has claimed that his department's resources were strained in the night of the Chit Fest and that his department did not anticipate such a sizable crowd of revelers. Let me give you a little clue here. Next year, Mike Woods, shut this thing down before it even begins. Chit Fest at this point is over. It was a very nice little party, went on for years. I know it may have a long tradition. Tradition's gone. Just end it. How long before somebody gets seriously hurt? I mean, I don't mind. I understand drunk revelers. I understand certain things that go on in these college parties and stuff like that. But when they start to damage people's cars, it's over. Put it into it. "I'm not going to send a small number of officers into a group of 2,000 to try and address that. So we waited until the appropriate time," he said 2 days after the incident. "We tried to work with the university to get information out to those students who tell them enough is enough. But once we knew that cars were being flipped, we got enough officers together and approached that area." Well, okay, that's a pretty weak statement. So, in summary, in my opinion, find out who did it, give them 2 years in jail. Enough of this. Throw them out of school. Like my video and subscribe to my channel.